Okay, so this is a video about Two Horses, but I should start by saying that I love the entire album. The reason I'm making a video specifically on Two Horses is George's tunes feel the most American to me, and they tend to rattle around my head as a result of that, and so I think about them a lot more. But ideally, I'm going to make a video about each of the singers. Specifically, I want to talk about like May's cadences and I'll get to it, and then the way that like Tyler holds on to vocal moments in songs. But this is about Two Horses, so we'll go into it. And also, yeah, I'm loving the album. It's sweet. It's very different from Ants From Up There, but it's just like a lovely album. The voices on here are so cool, and it's just like, yeah, it's refreshing and creative and really nice. Okay, so for Two Horses, I have here like some boxes around the lyrics. So the black boxes are what I consider like the first part of the song, where it sets up sort of our singer as like a mythological, sort of like Wild Westy character. And the way I think about it, for those of you that have read Lord of the Rings or like Cormac McCarthy's Sutri, I actually don't know how to say it, but it's like a character that seems to exist as a consequence of a place and like all the things that exist in that place. So in Lord of the Rings, it's like Tom Bombadil, or if you've read Sutri, it's like the shepherd in Sutri that goes around kind of preaching the gospel. They're sort of just these characters that feel like they've always existed. And so in the same way, I think Georgia does a nice job of like creating this singer that feels like she's always existed. And then the green box I have there is the reason this song feels so American to me is it reminds me of Wichita Lineman, the Glenn Campbell song, and I'll play a little bit of it, but basically, so we have the Searching in the Sun for Another Overload.
And I drive the main road, searching in the sun for another overload.
And then you have Georgia's Searching in the Mist for What I Know.
I'm a far away traveler. I travel alone, searching in the mist for what I know exists for me out there.
And so instantly it just kind of makes the tune feel American. But then we get to the red bits, and the red bits remind me of Red-Headed Stranger, which, if you haven't heard the song, I'll have it down below, and you can listen to that quickly, and then come back, or don't come back if you like the song and get on a tangent. But basically, Red-Headed Stranger is about this guy who's Willie Nelson's character, our singer, rides into town with two horses, one of which he's riding on, and the other of which is like a bay. And we find out in the first verse that he's he's sad because he's just buried his love, and the love had a bay, which was, this, I think it's like a chestnut-colored horse. And then we get introduced to the yellow-haired lady, and she's like watching the red-headed stranger, kind of eyeing him up, and she's scared of, his horse, but she's eyeing up the bay. Like, she wants the bay. And then they go to the bar, or they meet at the bar. He buys her a drink. They like kind of chat and laugh. He goes to saddle the horse up, and then she follows him out, like sort of assuming she's going to get on the bay. And then he shoots her and kills her.
She followed him out as he saddled the stallion and laughed as she grabbed at the bay. He shot her so quick they had no time to warn her. She never heard anyone say.
And so this reminds me, because in Two Horses, like we have similarly, our singer stops in a bar, meets like a handsome stranger in the same way that, the redheaded stranger meets the yellow-haired lady. The stranger abuses our singer's trust and then kills the horses. And then to me, it seems like there's like a patch between what I have as the red and the blue. And the blue reminds me of Bobby Gentry and the Ode to Billy Joel. So I'll get back to like the post-killing of the horses in a second. But to me, this is like the greatest American song ever written. So I recommend going and listening to it before I spoil it. Like, you can not know of Red-Headed Stranger, but you should really like leave this video and go listen to Ode to Billy Joel, because I think it's just like the best song, certainly the best American song ever written. But yeah. So if you're here already, I assume you've listened to the whole song, but basically the verses that come before what I have on the screen, is it's talking about how this kid Billy Joe died, and we get to this point that I have pictured, and it basically comes about that our singer feels something. It could be like a guilt or sadness about Billy Joe's death that the rest of the family doesn't really understand or isn't really talking about, or is like talking around. And then the mom brings up that the preacher saw her, the singer, and Billy Joe throwing something off the bridge. And so we get the idea that in some way our singer is like caught up in all this, like Billy Joe's death. And then we get the last verse, which is the singer doesn't tell us anything, but a year's gone by, and what she's doing is picking flowers and throwing them into the river.
And me, I spend a lot of time picking flowers up on Choctaw Ridge and drop them into the muddy water off the Tallahatchie Bridge.
And so, like, we don't know why she's doing that, but we just know that she is doing that, and it says something about Billy Joe's death, but really what it does is just create this incredible mystery, and you keep coming back to the song, and like you can re-listen to it and think of different motivations for why she might be doing it. So I think it's a great tune because you can listen to it over and over again and never really solve the mystery of the song. And so what I think Georgia does on Two Horses in a really great way post horse killing is like suspend that mystery. So we don't really know what happens after like the James Dean fool kills the horses, and then, you know, she's just laying kind of crying in the river, you know, I assume thinking about the horses, but I like to assume she like killed the fool and is laying there crying. But the more I listen to it, the less I'm certain. And so I think Georgia does a great job of suspending mystery. And the album's great. Thanks for tuning in. Really good job writing the song and recording the song, and love American tunes.